everyone, welcome back to the new show. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Mine was pretty good. I got a big upload out there, I got a bunch of new art books, and I even watched a new movie that focused on overcoming the internal struggles one gets from their formative years to evolve and gain a new view on the world. That builds off and creates relationships that gets the main character closer to the definitive version of themselves, with excellent use of color, especially because of the city and how it's traversed through, and a great soundtrack to boot. Man, Turning Red was so good. What do you guys think I was talking about? The Batman was so good, oh my god. I have a lot of thoughts about it, like I do with all the news that happened in February, which was a bit of a chill month being light on industry news, so it's gonna be a mostly fun episode. Kinda feels like a calm before the storm, but what do I know? I do want to preface that there is some not fun news to talk about, and rather than sprinkle it throughout and ruin the mood, I'd rather just punch you in the face with it and get it out of the way, so we can get to the good stuff. So with that in mind, let's start the anime recap. First off, we have to talk about veteran animator Manabu Ohashi, who sadly passed away at the age of 73. He got his start with Toei Animation in the 60s and stayed in the industry ever since, despite almost leaving early on, being brought back because of the work done on Ashita no Joe, leading to an incredibly fruitful career working on several classics, like Treasure Island, Space Adventure Cobra, Sailor Moon, and of course his Cloud segment in Robot Carnival, with tons more. A lot of his work you guys might not have heard of, or even him, but it's important to recognize the legends of the past since they are the ones who inspire and shape the next era that we are currently living in. He hasn't done a ton of work since the classic era, but that still hasn't stopped him from doing that with his final years hosting a unique class on animation, which is very sweet since he got his start at the age of 15. I'm gonna link below a bunch of stuff if anyone wants to learn about him and even check out his portfolio. Katsuka made an awesome thread showing a lot of his work over the years. Anime Corner did a deep dive on his history, where you'll learn a lot about him, like how he was a founding member of Madhouse, or how he originally was going to be a manga artist until he saw an ad for a position at Toei, with tons more. And finally, his Toko Toko TV interview, where you spend time with him and just see the passion he had for the craft. I sadly learned about him due to his passing, but I will very much be looking into his projects since his work needs to be remembered and shared. Rest in peace, Manabu Ohashi. I hope you're having a nice time in the clouds. Another industry legend also had its final hours, but not a single person, but an entire studio. That being Sunrise, who will still be around, but now as Bandai Namco Filmworks. The news came with the recent restructuring of the company, where they outlined combining different departments to just streamline organization. Doing this for music operation was Bandai Namco Arts, Bandai Namco Live Creative, and Sunrise Music to form Bandai Namco Music Live Incorporated. And of course, with the visual business side of Bandai Namco Arts, Bandai Namco Rights Marketing, and Sunrise. Which just sucks, man. Being formed in 1972, it's one of the oldest studios around, and even when they were bought by Bandai in 1993, they still kept the name, showing they had a lot of pride in what they created, and also an element of respect from the higher-ups. But with a recent dread from veteran Sunrise director Shinji Takamatsu, it seems that was all very empty. He started there just 4 years after the original Gundam dropped. How it blowing up started changing everything, that by 1994 he already felt Sunrise was fading, and that this was 25 years in the making, especially when the old staff secretly sold their shares to Bandai behind the back of Yoshiyuki Tomino, the creator of Gundam, and then over the years chipped away at it, splitting off parts of Sunrise to Bandai Namco Pictures in 2014, and even buying Sotsu, the company that owns the Gundam trademark. And outside of Gundam, they created so many iconic classics. Code Geass, Cowboy Bebop, Love Live, Dirty Pair, Escaflowne, and a lot of my favorites like Outlaw Star, Gintama, and Good Luck Girl. This is only scratching the surface since there's over 40 years of history with that name that's now being erased for a faithless brand. The change goes into effect April 1st, which especially stings since they were just shy of hitting 50 years. Makes it feel like it was just a joke to Bandai. Till then, I think the best way to take in the sunsetting on this studio is by watching one of their anime. Either something new for you or rewatching a favorite. celebrate their incredible legacy because Bandai Def didn't. I'm gonna miss you, Sunrise. Thank you for all the memories. I told you it was gonna get sad, so I'm now gonna try to cheer you guys up for the rest of the video, hopefully. Starting off was the Crunchyroll Anime Awards that kinda just happened unceremoniously on Twitter. No heads up anywhere, just dumping it all on there without a single warning that there would be no actual award show this year. Which I find funny since the award show has always been pretty bad. And no, not because an anime I like lost or anything, I don't watch seasonal anime. Because it feels like they're trying to legitimize this industry by copying other well-established and respected ones. Even though anime has been fine without it for the last few decades. Also, it's a little weird when most of the shows nominated are owned by you, but what do I know? It's just a glorified popularity contest, so the results are exactly as you expected, just without the live discourse. It's why I think they did it like this despite them saying it was cause of COVID. Even though you can just do it digitally, which I've always thought would be better for this anyway. Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer just cleaned house. While I'm disappointed that Bell lost to Demon Slayer, I'm not surprised. I will say that it def shouldn't have won best ending because god, it's really basic. It's pretty clear the voters didn't look at the other nominees because it should have lost having Odd Taxi, I'm a Spider, and Skate in there. Apparently they're going to be going back to a live event for the next one, so not looking forward to that as always. Crunchyroll was also in the news because their app is now on the Nintendo Switch, making it the second streaming service on the console. Next to their sister site, Funimation, which is def not foreshadowing anything really major in the next couple of weeks. Nothing at all. I still haven't tried it, so I can't give you any impressions, but it's nice that the Switch can now be used as an entertainment device due to its portability and especially the big screen. This is more of a heads up for you guys so you can try the app out. Leave any thoughts you have on it below, cause as always I love to hear what you guys think. Hopping over to the manga side of the industry for huge acquisition news, Yokohama Kiraishi Kiko will also be getting an official release in the US for the first time ever. I didn't know about this one, but it's apparently one of the best manga of all time, being critically acclaimed throughout its entire run. Starting in 1990 and wrapping in 2006, this is an oldie which explains the huge reaction to the acquisition since its legacy has only ever grown in its 30 plus years of existing. This was one of the white whales of manga that no one thought would ever get snatched. Especially since anime and manga preservation isn't really the MO for a lot of these licensing companies. This allows it to become way more accessible, letting that legacy continue to grow. While I'd prefer it not be 7 Seas since they are very sketch, I do have to commend them since this is very important for a lot of reasons. For real, nice one 7 Seas, you did more than good here. It'll be out in August, so make sure to snag a copy when it drops. Moving on, have y'all heard of Tokyo Otaku Mode? One of the biggest online stores for Japanese merch? Well, I have news for you, it's time for no fun today. NFTs have been one of the worst trends to appear in recent years, and with many industries leaning into it, it ever delays its welcome death. Anime surprisingly hasn't adopted it until now with a single company, that of Tokyo Otaku Mode. They announced that they're working on an anime based on the Crypto Ninja NFT. It's gonna be done by Studio Fanworks, the guys known for Agretsuko, which makes sense since their style fits the simplified NFT art style. Crypto Ninja is based in Japan, which is why I've never heard of it, and apparently it's the most active project in the space over there. While anime is in a sense a commercial for manga and merch, you're at least being sold something real that isn't a scam. This anime is just trying to trick more people to get into this pyramid scheme, especially when you take into account the very marketable aesthetic of the specific NFT and the studio making it. Tom is one of the biggest online shops for merch internationally, and for someone with a huge audience, I find it interesting that this announcement is nowhere to be seen on their site or even social media. Maybe because they're scared people will cancel their subs to them and just buy from other sites. Kinda like they know they're doing something pretty bad. Most of the stuff they offer isn't exclusive, so there are a lot of other alternatives either in the official manufacturer sites or third-party sellers like Right Stuff and Crunchyroll. Even the art books they offer you can find on the web if you look hard enough. NFTs continue to be awful for the amount of damage they do to the environment, especially for something that isn't real. And Tom getting into them shows how scummy they are, and how they're using all the cash you're giving them. So it might be a good time to cancel your subs and go to another site. As always, I must follow that segment with fun announcements, and February happened to have a lot of that. Funny enough, the trend being about physical things you can buy, like these Vasha Stampede glasses. Some of y'all are probably thinking this is whatever since you can buy cosplay glasses like these online, but no, these aren't for cosplay, I guess. These are official sunglasses produced in collaboration with the Japanese eyewear brand Shitsuji Megane Eye Mirror and Trigun. The kicker is that apparently Yasuhiro Naito, the creator of Trigun, personally supervised its creation to make sure it was super accurate, which is just a funny image to think about. It's really silly, but it makes sense why they look so good from the color of the lenses and frames. And since it's a real eyewear brand, they do offer an option to make the lenses prescription so you can try to be Vash every second of the day. This brand has done collabs before with Fate Stay Night and Toho, but those were just regular frames colored to match the characters with little flourishes. These are easily the best ones since they look straight out of the anime. They're actually very affordable, being $114, especially since they have a real purpose. The glasses are already cool, but what makes it even better is that the case it comes with has new art done by Naito, which as always looks really good. I hope they do more collabs like this since I would love to see more anime glasses become real. But I can't think of any unique ones, so leave comments if any come to mind. I just thought of a good one, Lotte from Little Witch Academia. Please make those real, I would love to see that. But maybe you want something else taken from an anime. In that case, Hunter x Hunter's Gungi might be up your alley. The set comes with all the pieces and even rules despite not being explained in the original series. It looks like it's not going to be nerfed like most fictional games and media usually are when brought into the 3D realm, since it's emphasizing that there are entry and intermediate levels when it comes to the rule set. It even came with an explanation video if you're interested in seeing what it looks like, and if you do want to buy it, there are two sets. The regular one being $41 with the higher end one priced at $418, which is just the prior with cases. Hunter x Hunter fans, are you interested? It's def one of the cooler pieces of merch I've ever seen since you can get hours of enjoyment out of it, distracting you from the never-ending hiatus of Hunter x Hunter. Let's take a slight pivot to real life being affected because of anime. The first being super random, that of the Japanese novel No Longer Human spiking in sales because of the Junji Ito counterpart and Bungo Stray Dogs. The latter might come off as even more random, but for those who don't know, all the characters in that series are inspired by real-life authors of the same name. The best character being Osamu Dazai, the one behind No Longer Human. Similar situations in Japan have happened before, where an anime spotlights something that seemingly may not appeal to certain crowds, but due to the entertaining and informative presentation, introduces it to a whole new audience. Like with My Dress Up Darling, that by episode 4, modern Hina dolls had been completely sold out. The correlation makes sense since it's there where Gojo explains that specific type of Hina doll. One of the makers of these, Suzuki Ninjo, I hope I said his name right, saying that all 300 sets of these sold out a week after the episode came out. The regular versions of these being around $550, with the higher end ones creeping to $4,500, so it's not a little investment. But there's more to this than just sellers getting lucky. Suzuki actually helped with the making of the series, being a consultant when Shinichi Fukuda was researching the art a year before the manga started, teaching him about the dolls and even using him as a basis for Gojo. In that time, telling him about the care and craft put into this industry. It's just a beautiful full circle moment that shows the passion you put into something will come true and the people who resonate with it will go and seek it out. It's something I feel everyone hears, but for good reason. A lot of people are scared of putting themselves out there, but if these guys didn't, their love wouldn't have been shared with hundreds if not thousands of new people. It's that personal element that you put into the stuff you make that gives it its identity. And the right people will be attracted to it, which is what I want to take away from this really sweet story. The merch news doesn't end there since one hobby was taking place. An expo where all the biggest figure manufacturers reveal their new upcoming products and have them up for display. Basically an art show where everything visible you'll eventually be able to buy. Some still in the prototype phase being uncolored to others that are further behind only having drawn up mock-ups. There were lots of really cool ones shown, but the most unexpected one came from Kotobukiya. Yeah, Waifu Optimus Prime. It's part of their B-shoujo line where they usually get female characters and stylize them as cute girls, but every so often they do some gender bending like with Loki, Snake Eyes, and even Chucky. It's pretty funny since they managed to translate a lot of G1's Optimus's design into the statue, like with the hair buns, glasses, leggings, boots, to even the case she holds. But she wasn't the only announcement because we also got our Dictator Can't Be This Cute with Megatron. One of the best things to come out of all of this is all of the fan art of Optimus Tomboy, which just gets across how well they designed her. Megatron didn't get as much since she's not even in the prototype phase, but there were still some really good ones. I'm just gonna show some of my faves like this one from Smutipers that makes me laugh every time I see it because of the dialogue and expressions. At Nafe_Nasutetsu making lots of them, like her in the heat of battle, holding her Allspark necklace, and these nice shots of both of them. At No_A for gender bending the gender bend, but still keeping them in the same outfits, which is just amazing. And finally, Katoboro TF for these really cute ones, as well as coining the name Megatron, cause it's really good and we are never topping that. There were tons more that I didn't get permission to use, so there will be a Twitter moment that has all of my faves since there were so many great ones from really small artists. So you should def give them a follow, link below. Yeah, this was my fave story of the month, how can you tell? The next one is a weird in-between since it didn't go in either section, but I needed to talk about it because now that I saw it, you have to as well. Everyone knows Rent-a-Girlfriend, everyone's favorite manga and anime. The very successful and popular Rent-a-Girlfriend that is not problematic in any way, right? Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page. Recently had a crowdfunding campaign, which is kinda weird based on everything I just said, to fund an ad. A big one that will be placed in Shibuya Station, the second most trafficked train station in the world because obviously it's very expensive. The ad is to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the manga and the upcoming 2nd season. Some of you are probably thinking this is a big scam, and I'm totally with you. And others are putting it on the company that publishes it, which makes sense. But nope, this was all Reiji Miyajima, the creator of the manga. And his purpose for doing this, aside the celebration part, was to, and I quote, understand how Kazuya felt running his own crowdfunding campaign like in one of the arcs. Sure guys, sure. The goal for it was 6 million yen, around $52,000, and it hit 7 million in 25 minutes. The crazy part, surprisingly none of this, is that at the time of this recording there are still a few days left and it's almost doubled its original goal. Again, this is all for an ad to put life-size versions of the girls in a train station. He said he's gonna expand the ad into more places because of all the extra money, but still, why? This is the biggest grift I've ever seen. It for real just sounds like a Nathan For You bit. Using your fans to pay for your ad, giving yourself free advertisement. There's no way to segue out of this, so let's just get to the next section. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with people? Time for some movie news, which February had a lot of. The first being that Kenji Kamiyama's Lord of the Rings prequel, i.e. the only Tolkien-related thing Frodo is excited about, has an official release window being April 2024. Quick little reminder that it's being directed by the guy behind Standalone Complex and Eden of the East, and it's set hundreds of years before the mainline stuff, so there's a lot of promise since it's an original story. Still 2 years away, but it's great they're taking their time with this one. Something that doesn't look promising is Netflix's live-action One Piece that is now officially in production. There's nothing to add here, it's just that weird feeling that it actually is happening. We've been hearing about it for years at this point, so it's just odd that it will be real at one point. I don't have any faith in it because if Hollywood can't even adapt short-form grounded anime, how are they even gonna do something as exaggerated and expansive as One Piece? Part of the appeal is the silly elements like the facial features and powers. I have a lot of thoughts about live-action adaptations of animated properties, but I'll save that for another day. More live-action news that actually sounds great, which I know sounds hypocritical based on what I just said, but bear with me. Beyblade. Yes, you heard right, they are making a live-action Beyblade movie for Paramount with Jerry Bruckheimer producing it. Beyblade is already super dumb and doesn't take itself seriously, so doing it in live action makes perfect sense. It's not like masterpiece level material is going to be lost in translation here. And there is a nice amount of leeway since the franchise does standalone entries, so they can kinda just do whatever they want. In the Deadline article, it states that the studio is considering making this a franchise because of its popularity. Yes, I am in. This sounds amazing. With that in mind, I have a suggestion. Michael Bay. He's the perfect guy to direct absolute chaos coming from toys, because if he did it once, he can do it again. A double Transformers mention in this video is not what I expected when I started making this. Okay, let's talk about movies that aren't years away, specifically of the Ghibli kind. This is just a little heads up that Ghibli Fest is making its return after 2 years. Every month starting in April, there's gonna be a different movie by the studio in theaters for a single week. So if you guys have ever wanted to see any of these on the big screen, now is your chance. Personally, I'm eyeing The Cat Returns, Only Yesterday, and Howl's Moving Castle. We are creeping up on the start date being April 3rd with Princess Mononoke, so just keeping you guys in the know since these should be experienced in the theater whenever the opportunity comes. Some of y'all don't want to hear about the classics, I get it, you want new stuff, I understand, so in that case, check this out.
とりあえず15秒スポットお願いね。つかみがあって意外な展開があって見どころを紹介しつつミスリードさせながら興味を引っ張って最後にドーン
15秒でそれ全部ですか
G-Kid's continuing to acquire some of the best anime films out of Japan, with Pompo the Cinephile following Bell. This has been my most anticipated film of the year ever since I found the trailer by accident months ago. Being a love letter to film as well as being about the risk of the creative process and putting everything on the line for something you believe in. All wrapped in a beautiful art style with vibrant colors, simplified and expressive character designs that show that same level of love for animation like they do with everything else in the film, which is a nice surprise for a movie with a grounded premise. The story focusing on people getting their big break and trying not to mess it up, which is really poetic since this is the first movie by a brand new studio and it looks amazing. Continuing the trend of stories about making the medium the story is taking place in, which has a really good track record with Pompo being no different. This acquisition was super under the radar that the only official subtitled version of the trailer doesn't even have 10,000 views. This is their big break and more people need to know about it, especially since it's gonna be in theaters for 3 days and we're creeping up on that. The theatrical fan event being April 27th for the sub and April 28th for the dub, with the 29th still being in select theaters. I've been wanting to talk about this one forever, especially because we gotta support original anime films. Yes, I know it's a manga, but you get what I mean, not related to a huge franchise. Please don't miss out on this one, guys. If you're gonna see anything in theaters, I think you should make it the movie about making movies. Gonna link the trailers and the site for tickets below, and I hope to see you there real soon. We're almost done, just gotta go through the biggest announcements of the month, which a lot of them happened right before it ended, so gonna speed through these. Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen are getting new seasons. What a surprise, the biggest anime in the world are being continued. I think it would have been bigger news if they didn't get sequels, but for the few that missed it, more of both for you. Eden Zero is also getting a second season, which is surprising since the first didn't make a huge splash based on what I saw. A new Pokemon web anime based on Legends Arceus is slated for later this year, and those have always been good. Some super left field ones that no one saw coming. Classroom of the Elite is getting a new season after 5 years, which is a pretty big gap until you see that Spice and Wolf is getting a new anime project. The last one being 13 years ago. But that one also got topped because Zatchbell, the manga, got a sequel 15 years after it finished. And in the middle of all of this, a Nier Automata anime got announced. There is just too much that I don't have time to give input since the video is long enough as is. For real, all of this happened in a week, what the hell? As always, I like to end it off on a positive story, this one being about another veteran of the industry. Kazutaka Miyatake, the 71-year-old mechanical designer for lots of well-known classic series like the Macross franchise, Space Battleship Yamato, Gunbusters, and tons more, who sadly experienced an electrical house fire last year that partially destroyed his home studio while also taking the life of his wife of 35 years. Him being a local anime celeb of the area, the city of Yokosuka gave him a temporary place to stay for the last 9 months. But note the word temporary. A GoFundMe was started to help him get a new permanent home, asking fans of his work to donate any little bit they can. The campaign hitting its initial goal in a day and has now earned a little over 3 times that. It's being ran by industry professionals who will give all of the earnings to Miyatake. That will go to moving into the new place, buying furniture, cleaning his old house, and getting work supplies. It's just a beautiful scenario of the community banding together to show the love and care they have for the medium and the people behind it. Moments like these make me happy to be an anime fan since the good of the fandom really shines through, and that's always nice to see. And that's it for the anime recap. If you hit the end, I always appreciate that. What were some of your fave news stories? Are you gonna get Optimus Tomboy or Megatron? What about that classic manga? Leave them below, since I love to see the conversations between all of y'all. But as always, bye guys, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.